Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. In this video, we're diving into the rental market of the Dominican Republic, specifically housing rentals, and looking at both perspectives, tenants and landlords. The rental scene here is incredibly diverse, with options for nearly every budget. Whether you're searching for a luxury villa, a modern apartment, a cozy studio, or just a single room, you'll find properties in the city, countryside, beachfront, or some with a hilltop view. You can choose to stay in a bustling tourist hotspot or a quiet, off-the-beaten-path location. Rental prices vary based on location and season. On the North Coast, for example, the busiest season runs from November to March, when prices can double. You can find rentals through real estate agents, online listings, or platforms like Airbnb and Facebook. Short-term rentals typically range from a few days to 6 months, while anything beyond that is considered long-term. Let's explore the ins and outs of renting in DR. All right, folks, I'm here with Henning from Gordon's Facility Management. So thank you for jumping on camera. Now, you have a lot of experience, I know, both with rentals and property management. So
over 20 years now.
20 years plus, yeah. Great stuff. And you're located here in the HVB Plaza on the outskirts of Sosúa.
Since almost 9 years now, yes.
Fantastic. Now, Henning, what is the most common rent duration for residential rentals down here?
Anything between 6 and 12 months is standard.
What kind of deposit do people have to put down when they are renting something here?
It always depends on the owner, but average is between 1 and 3 months.
Yeah.
First, last, and 1 deposit or 2 months deposit. It varies from owner to owner, yes.
And you said something off camera about the government try to eliminate deposits needed at all.
Yes, a couple of years ago they tried to pass a bill that they wanted to eliminate any kind of deposit needed. It's more for their local contracts than foreigners, but it didn't go through.
Okay. So landlords, they want to be protected, of course.
Of course, you need to.
Yeah. And who does the repairs and the maintenance at the rental properties?
So 95% out of everybody, it's mostly the landowner or the owner or the property management company that does all the repairs. It's very strange that you have a tenant doing all the repairs or any repairs.
There's something called a conditions report.
It's very necessary. It's for both parties. So you want to know what you're giving away as an owner, and as a renter you want to make sure that the owner knows what you're receiving. So it gives protection to both parties.
And what utility bills are usually included in the rent?
That depends from owner to owner, but basic necessity right now standard is Wi-Fi, TV, which is almost included everywhere. Electricity and some cases water is not included.
Okay, but sometimes it is.
Water, yes. Electricity, almost never. You will almost never find a unit that is rented with electricity included.
Is that because of air conditioning use?
Correct. The air conditioning use, the lack of people saving power. You know, nobody wants to switch off the air conditioner. If it's free, they just let it run 24/7.
But if it's a short-term rental, then often everything's included.
Even in short-term rentals, you will find a lot of owners who will have a baseline saying, oh, we include $20 of electricity per week or per day, and if you go over, you will pay the difference. It's to help people turn off the air conditioner to actually conserve a little of the electricity.
What important clauses would you suggest people make sure is in the contracts?
With our experience, I always say make sure you filter out before you get your tenants in. So you want to know what kind of people you have, that you're not getting a party animal or somebody who's going to abuse your property. So do your research before getting tenants. For those who do short terms, I would suggest no guests, because it really helps to maintain the unit. And just make sure that you get a nice type of client. So elevate your prices a little higher so you can actually get the ones that want to pay a little more for it.
When it comes to noise, a common thing that we've seen down here, that somebody rents a villa, they crank up a big party, on a Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and all the villa owners around are trying to sleep and there's a big party going on. Can the landlord put something in the contract that they lose the deposit if they create noise disturbance to the area?
Of course, they can actually also put in clauses that they have to pay a fine if necessary. So put house rules in, hang them inside your unit, on the fridge, on the entry door, or on the bedroom's door, and just remind your tenants of what the rules are and that they are neighbors.
So what's usually the maximum amount of pets, if they do allow pets, that they can bring in to a rental property?
It has changed throughout the years. So it used to be one dog, maybe one cat. Now a lot of owners they're non-pet friendly. So sometimes you get lucky and you get a house where you're allowed to have pets, but condo associations mostly don't allow pets at all.
Individuals renting a property are not obliged to pay the rental agent for their services, given that this agent already has a previous agreement with the owner. On the other hand, what the tenant usually has to pay for is the drafting and notarization of the lease agreement. Is there some kind of right to privacy that they can't just come in, the landlord, anytime they want?
Yes, of course it is, especially in this country. So as a landlord, you don't have the free will to go to your unit whatever time you want. You actually have to give your renter a 48-hour notice before you arrive, and the renter has to be with you. If he's not, you're not just allowed to go in, even if you have a spare key. You're breaking the law in that case.
So let's say it's been the renter from hell and the landlord wants them out. What's the due process of getting them out?
So in this country, it's a little hard because you can't do these steps yourself as in the States or in Europe. You actually have to get a lawyer. So a lawyer will have to file a case, you have to give them notification. Typical by law, it's a 60 days notification. If they're not out by then you have to start an eviction process, which can take anything between 7 months to 18 months, some cases.
It's not easy to get people out.
No, it's not, sadly, no.
Is there a new legislation coming out that's going to make that easier for the landlords?
They are trying to give the landlords more rights, but at the same time give the tenants more rights as well. So it's a balance. I'm not seeing it happening within the next 4 years though.
The next question, this may not be a common thing, but now and then you hear about people squatting in properties. So if they've been squatting for 5 years or 10 years in some building, is there laws here that now the owner can't get them out?
It depends on the case. People actually squat more on land than in buildings because they will actually take over your land. So it's more common for more up in the mountains where people just take over land, build a wall and build their house. And if you're not checking up that on those lands periodically, like 6 months, 12 months, you may be surprised that you have an apartment building there. And yes, after that, it's very hard to get them out. There is still law, but it needs a process. And you have to get a lawyer, and it will involve money and time.
You're probably wondering whether there's tenant organizations that'll help you address issues relating to housing conditions and rights. Yes, there is. There's currently a law which has existed since 1955 and was amended in 1988 that regulates everything related to rentals in the Dominican Republic. Additionally, the country has a lease control department which oversees conflicts over evictions and price increases of housing between owners and tenants. Another common practice in Dominican Republic has been for landlords to demand the equivalent to 3 months of rent upfront from tenants, with the third month being a security deposit in case they damage or lose something. Upon termination and satisfaction by the landlord, this third month of rent is then refunded. But there has been issues, so a new proposed law would mandate that landlords may only collect a maximum of 2 months worth of rent as a security deposit. Such deposits must be then placed in an escrow account at the Banco Agricola and can be withdrawn upon termination of the tenancy. The Dominican Republic has taken a significant step towards regulating the rental market with the recent approval of a new bill by the Chamber of Deputies. The legislation aims to introduce clear guidelines and obligations for both landlords and tenants. However, the bill still needs to be sent to the Senate for a final approval. One of the noteworthy features of the bill is the requirement that property owners cannot rent their premises out without the consent of co-owners, ensuring that all stakeholders have a say in the process. Additionally, it mandates that landlords must provide tenants with the receipts for all payments received, especially when payments are made in a foreign currency, which must be stipulated in the rental contract. The new legislation will create a specialized jurisdiction allowing for the eviction of non-paying tenants to be executed within a maximum period of 2 months. However, even though the bill modernizes some aspects, in some cases new conflicts are created. For example, the term granted for the tenant to vacate the property after 2 months without honoring the payment. The new bill states that legal costs associated with rental contracts shall be shared equally between the landlord and the tenant. Additionally, the bill specifies that the brokerage fee or commission will be borne by the party who engaged the services of the rental agent. So what would you say is the least busy and the busiest seasons down here for rentals?
It depends. For example, Cabarete high season starts between November, December until the end of April. Then it goes down for a little bit until June, where it rises again because of the wind that we get until September. Then again it goes down until November, where it starts the other season. Susu, on the other hand, has a popular season, which is basically from November all the way through April, and then it's dead. Susu has only 5 months of high season.
And during those seasons, or high seasons, do the rent go up a lot?
You can get some units which increase the price almost by 100% sometimes, yes. But average is between 20 and 40%.
Just as an example, a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom place, a condominium, what's the normal kind of rent, low season, high season for that down here?
Depends. If it's oceanfront, low season, you're looking anything between $1,500 to $2,500. If it's off the ocean, anything between $1,000 to $1,500.
So when people want to utilize property management company services, how does that work? What's the rules? What type of contracts are involved if they want to delegate that off to specialists like you guys?
Well, my experience is following. There's a lot of property management between Susu and Cabarete. You have a lot of people who come down here and think they can do it. I would filter them out first before giving my property to anybody. Make sure it's a legit company, make sure they have been in this country for a long time, make written contracts with a lawyer, because you want to have because basically you're giving them your building, your house. So you're giving them a huge amount of investment for them to control. So you want to be as certain, as safe as possible.
So Gordon Facility Management, your firm,
Yes.
you cover new property management contracts, or you're already set with specific ones?
No, so we concentrate basically only on condo associations. We do not manage individual units, meaning apartments, housing, or any other kinds. We only manage properties like condo association and residential areas. And because we only manage these properties come with a combined contract integrated already.
And any other final hints on selecting a good property manager for your property?
My suggestion is do a little research online. It's very easy now these days. Talk to locals. They're the best information. But at the end, I think the quality of work will say it all. If you have a property manager who only manages 5 buildings, it's probably not the same to one that manages 70 buildings.
So Henning, do property management companies need a license to operate down here?
In this country, sadly, no, we don't. So anybody can become a property manager. That's why I said, do your research before. If you have a company that's just recently opened towards a company that has been operating for 10 or 15 years already, there's a difference.
So as a property manager, do you like short-term or long-term rentals the most?
So each one is a little different. There is more money involved in short-term rentals, so meaning you make more in a shorter time, but it also involves much more work. Long-term renters is less work, but also less funds, so less income.
You can see Henning's details for his company down the bottom of the screen here, and I would like to say thank you very much for answering all these questions.
Anytime.
And all the very best for the future.
Thank you.
Cheers. Yeah, folks, I'm with a great YouTuber from the North Coast here, Cerise Fairfax. Thanks, Cerise. My sister from a different mister, jumping on camera. Now, Cerise.
From another mother.
Yeah. Now, you know quite a bit about the Airbnb thing. Is it an easy thing for people to start up Airbnbs down here and make money from it?
It is easy for people to start off with Airbnb, 100%. The one thing that I would say is the promoting behind it. You don't need a whole lot of permission to start it, but you need a whole lot of promotion to start it. A lot of people think it's about a pop-up shop, but once you get onto the algorithms on Airbnb, then they start pushing you. What you need to do on Airbnb, get up there, get as many photos as you can, get down to the beach, show some restaurants in the area, plates of food, and everything that looks tantalizing to a person that wants to rent your place. Then here is the key. You need reviews. Once you have reviews, you have it made. You will be so busy. Here's another thing that I have found out as well. When you first get on Airbnb, lower your prices so you can be competitive. Competition is good for business. Here's another tip. If you have no reviews, then have your friends stay in the place and get them to give you reviews. Because once you have those reviews, that speaks on your credibility. And that's when Airbnb says, oh, you're good, we're gonna start referring you. So make sure you're verified, make sure that you have your reviews, and make sure you promote off of Airbnb as well. Here in the Dominican Republic on Facebook, we have a lot of places that you can promote with. You can also promote with people like myself and also with Mr. T. So if you're looking for really good advertising outside of Airbnb, you want to go on Facebook. Outside of Facebook, you want to utilize the vloggers here. And one of the main vloggers aside from myself is Mr. T. Mr. T gives you the great opportunity to purchase advertising, and you can get a banner or even a video of the place, and what he will do is promote you with your number, your name, and also your property.
By the way, I didn't pay her to say this. Thank you, Cerise.
But I just know that you're really good at promoting, and you know, I mean, Mr. T was one of the first people that I met before I came here to the Dominican Republic. And I say that very seriously. His information is amazing. I know if you're watching the channel, you know what I mean. I binge watched all of his videos before I came. And I will say this to you. Once you get promoted on a channel, that's what people are actually watching before they come. So even if they go on Airbnb and all of their options are all over the place and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what place to pick. They know that once they see your place on Mr. T's YouTube channel or my YouTube channel, we're actually vouching for you. And we are not going to go to some little backyard place and take a video of a place that looks no good, because we wouldn't want any of our viewers to go into a place that we wouldn't represent or stay in ourselves. So if you are a person that's on Airbnb and you really want to get yourself out there, these are the things that you have to do to make money. Don't expect to make money right away. Sometimes it takes a moment because you have to get into the algorithms. It's like starting a YouTube channel. You have to get the views first.
Super duper, Cerise, that's great. And there's a commission that Airbnb takes. For now, the government's not taking anything, but they might in the future. But do you know what the percentage is that Airbnb they want from people?
That's a great great question. So when you get on Airbnb, if you're not on Airbnb yet, by the way, a shameless plug here, I help people find Airbnb. So if you don't want to buy here and you just want to rent a place, sublease it and put it on Airbnb and test the market before that, I have apartments that you can do that with. Now, that goes under your identification with the country you are from. I'm from Canada, so I'm on Airbnb with my Canadian identification. Airbnb takes a cut. The Dominican Republic, I don't know how they would take a cut from that, because they would have to get the cut from the Airbnb app itself. Maybe they're trying to make a rule that if you have an Airbnb, you have to register with someone here, but I'm just surmising right now, and I'm just speculating. I've never heard this myself, but if it's something coming up, it could just be something that they're thinking about doing, but they don't really have any merit or grounds to do it on right now. They know that there's a lot of money to be made on Airbnb here, and it could be just something that they're thinking about doing. If they do that, again, I can't see them targeting each individual. I could only see them targeting Airbnb, and then Airbnb trying to tag you for that extra commission.
Excellent information, Cerise. So I hope they could hear us here. A lot of noise at Plan B in Sosua, but come down and contact Cerise if you need any specific objects. She'll help you out. We'll put her contact details at the lower part of the screen here. Thank you, Cerise.
Thank you, Mr.
And check out her channel, which is
Cerise Fairfax on YouTube. And guys, I got to tell you, I have a few other channels. So when you check out my one channel, check out my other channels. I have a crime channel. I have a celebrity gossip channel. A lot of stuff going on. But please do me a favor right now. Be good to yourself out there, and do me another favor. Hit the thumbs up so YouTube knows that you like Mr. T's video, and subscribe.
Thank you, Cerise.
Bye, guys.
She's my best promoter. Thank you. Okay, cheers.
Bye.
What taxes does DR take for rentals that happen through Airbnb? If you're currently renting a room to guests, you'll be required to apply IBIS, an 18% tax to your rental charge, and to pay this IBIS amount to the Dominican tax authorities. Starting July 2025, by decree from the President, the DR will be taking 18% on Airbnb rentals. Rental yields in Dominican Republic typically range between 6% and 10% annually, depending on the property's location and amenities. For properties in high demand areas such as beachfront condos or apartments in gated communities, ROI can exceed 12%. Yeah, folks, I'm here with Robert Neely. You've seen him on camera before. Thanks, Robert, for being on camera.
Hello.
And he runs Gringo Car Rentals. He's involved in a few other adventures as well. We'll just get the car out of the way. Now, Robert, what sort of advice can you give to folks coming down renting long term, and what should they be careful of? What should they make sure of?
Well, if you're going to do long term, you definitely want a contract, first of all, that protects you and the landlord, obviously. Some of them will only be in Spanish, so you might need to get them translated in both by the attorney so you know what you're signing. They will typically ask for first, last, and a security deposit. I want to say anything over 2-3 months because of potential damage. Some landlords, I will say a very minute amount right now, do not return your security deposits for whatever reason. That doesn't happen that often. Obviously, you want to check, if you're going to have a look in the place, maintenance under cabinets, water, toilets, do the ACs work? What are you paying for? Is electricity separate? Typically nowadays, electricity, Wi-Fi, air conditioning is all included in the rental. If it's just a 2-week or a month rental, it's just what the price is, no contracts needed. Everyone is generally very fair. To friends as well that have rented here before, or some locals that you trust.
Okay, if I could just pop that thing about fiscal in. There's something here called an alguacil that works from the local fiscal office, and fiscal is like a small claims court down here. So if you have a grievance against a landlord who's not returning a deposit and you believe you are in the legal rights of having it returned, you can pay 500 pesos to the fiscal. They'll send their alguacil chap out to serve that person a date they have to turn up at the court. If they fail to turn up at the court, they can actually get arrested or dragged in there by the police because it's a legal request to turn up. Back to the rentals, the electricity and backup, what would you recommend?
Well, and you want to make sure, if you're in a place, and depending whether you're here working remote or not, a lot of places now provide backup generators, or they have, depending on the unit, inverters inside so that if power goes off, which it does quite a bit in this country, quite substantially more so, I want to say, down where I live near the bridge past the airport. Here, a lot of places, generators, inverters. So make sure you have that. Make sure you have 24/7 electric and water. If you're nervous about anything, most places, depending on the units, have an overnight security. Not that that's typically a problem, it's more for a presence here. So those are just general things. If you want a pool, make sure there's a pool, make sure it's cleaned. General stuff that you're comfortable with. Make sure your water runs, toilets flush. General personal preferences that you're going to need in the place.
And maybe also speak to another renter in that apartment block or wherever you're looking, because they'll tell you the full scoop on how consistent the electricity is running, and when they do cut the power, which they do fairly frequently here, what kicks in and how fast does it kick in.
Makes a big difference. I have an inverter in my apartment for that very reason. So when power goes down in my neighborhood, I have Wi-Fi, I have electricity for what I need, and that keeps me happy because it happens quite frequently, and if you're not prepared for it, it can be a little frustrating.
Yep. The other thing I just wanted to touch on was noise. I've always said to people, pop around near the place that you're considering renting and then just check what's happening on a Friday night, Saturday night and other nights, and see if there's noise.
A bar, you're going to have noise, especially like even in my neighborhood. My neighbors like to party on the weekends. It's something I deal with, and it's not that bad. Depending on the neighborhood, most people have dogs, and dogs will bark. So a little dog bark is something that's going to bother you. Check the neighborhood, check where you're renting to see how many dogs they have. Listen, make some noise, see if the other dogs bark. Because the last thing you want or the landlord wants is all of a sudden you're unhappy because you got 3, 4, 5 dogs barking, and now you have a problem. So you got to do a little investigation to ensure your happiness as well. During high season, book ahead. Don't expect, especially Super Bowl week. That is the busiest week of the year here. If you're going to book for Super Bowl week, a lot of places are booked a year in advance. So keep things like that in mind.
Okay, super duper. Thanks, Robert. And if you need a rental, I'm talking about vehicles, this is your man, Gringo Car Rentals. You'll see the banner down below. Thank you so much again.
Have a good day.
Take care. You too. Here with Dookie and Sweetie. And they are very sweet, aren't you? Yeah. So, Craig, how you doing?
I'm good.
Thanks for jumping on camera. I'll just turn over here because of the sun. Now, you've been renting out villas for a few years here.
Yeah, off and on for a few years.
So, what recommendation can you give to folks who are coming down here to rent a villa?
If you have the right property and you have the right clients, it can be a pleasurable experience.
Yeah.
If you have the wrong property and the wrong client, it can be a little more difficult.
So what would make it the wrong property for somebody who's looking?
Well, it just depends on what the client is looking for. Sometimes, as people know, as being out here for a while, it's sometimes maybe it might not be up to the certain standard that people from other countries may be accustomed to. And that has a lot to do with just the living in the Caribbean, and not everything is as streamlined and easy as it is possibly in other countries. But there's money to be had, and it can be a very lucrative endeavor.
Yeah. And do you do it like Airbnb?
We have an Airbnb. We have a property that's on Airbnb right now.
So for those who want to own property down here and Airbnb it out, what advice can you give them?
Just make sure that you have the property well taken care of, and that you choose. I guess with Airbnb you can't really choose the clients that you get, but a lot of times clients can be a little bit more destructive out here, I think, than they can be in possibly renting in a different area, and so that can be difficult as well.
Is it profitable?
It can be, yes, it can be, and definitely with the right property without a lot of overhead, and it's definitely possible to make money out here using rentals.
Great, thank you, Craig.
No problem.
Always good comments. And Doogie and Sweetie, how old are these two?
They're about 6.5, 7.
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Just really, really, really cute. All right, thanks again.
All right, have a good day.
Cheers, you too. Yeah, everyone, I'm here with Serge from Paradise Villa Bed and Breakfast out in Encuentro. Thanks for jumping on camera. And Serge, you have a horror story amongst all the success stories of renting out to folks. What happened with this specific gentleman? Oh, he wasn't a gentleman.
Well, this chap, an English Canadian, was crying because where he was living, he says each time it rains, the bed gets all wet because water is protruding in the house where he was renting. And he says, each time I fix something, I don't have any much money to buy food. I'm looking for a decent place to live. So he came over here. We made an agreement, was $550 a month, US. And he says, fantastic. You got a pool, beautiful place, it's secure, power 24/7. Great, I'll move in. And he did move in. I had told him that I would be leaving for 2 weeks, going to Canada to have some medical examination that I needed to do. He says, fantastic, no problem. He says, and I will pay you on the 31st when you come back in, no problem whatsoever. When I came back, he had moved out without telling me. He had stolen 2 glasses, crystal glasses for wine. He stole a gallon of honey, and he did not pay the rent at all, the $550. He even stole the bed sheets. So,
Nice.
it's very hard to trust someone.
You feel you had your trust abused because he couldn't pay a deposit up front. Is that the situation?
No, because he told me that he gets paid on the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
The money comes in from the pension in Canada.
So your advice to other landlords is now?
From now on, if you don't give a 2 months cash deposit, forget it. You just, money talks, bullshit walks. You keep on walking.
Fantastic. Okay, well, interesting story. There you go. It's not always the renters that are the victims. Here you go, folks. There's a landlord who had a hard financial slap by this, but you've learned from it and tightened the ropes. So thanks for being on camera. And if anybody wants to rent, he's got a beautiful place here, Paradise Villa Bed and Breakfast, and we'll put the details at the bottom of the screen here to contact Serge. Thanks, Serge.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Have a great day, sir.
You too. Thanks. So up here on the 2nd floor, we have a nice apartment, which I'll show you now. And it's got a nice view both out the back as well as from the front there. Let's go up and have a look. All right, so to show you this 2-bedroom, we'll go through here. And straight away you can see it's nice and spacious. Got the TV, dining area, kitchen, new stove, fridge, range hood. And down here we have the 2 bedrooms. First one right here. And then we have another one down here, which I think is the master. And you got wardrobes there. And then back here, bathroom, shower. And you got privacy that you can walk straight from the bedroom, close the other door, and go into the bathroom from there. So this is located very convenient to a supermarket not far away in a quiet side street. So this is $800 a month. If you're keen to inquire, then email info@educatedtraveler.info and we'll get you some more information. Let's move on. Yes, so here's one of the rooms that was available. First of all, nice wardrobe on the right here, and then stylish bathrooms through here. There's a balcony out there you can sit and enjoy the view from. We'll have a closer look at the bathroom over here. Very stylish, everything. Nice sofa area, big screen TV, air conditioning, and a very stylish bed set up here. Yeah, so this is great value for money. I'll put the prices in the bottom of the screen. But if you want to rent, you can rent a room like this or a bigger penthouse suite. All right, folks, we move on. Yes, I'm up in Casalinda. A friend of mine will be renting this 2-bedroom villa out in 2026. And I just wanted to show you what you can get for your money. So he'll be renting this out from, depending on the length, $1,600 to $2,000, depending on whether it's just a month or whether it's several months. So the length of the contract will depend on that, but let's have a look. So straight away you can see air conditioning, fans, nice open space here. You got a kitchen, very nice. And open the sliding doors, you can go straight out to a barbecue and pool area, big terrace here where you can enjoy sitting around any time of the day in the shade here. And let me take you to the bedroom in here first. So it's a 2-bedroom, as I said, plenty of closet space. And the bed there, very peaceful area, by the way. All right, the pool, you can do a few laps there, cool down. And then have a dining table over here. Nice bathroom, ensuite. And shower just over here. There we go. So, folks, if you're looking to rent something down here, that should give you a good idea of the price point. So you can either inquire through us, info@educatedtraveler.info. We can try to help you out, or look online what's available. There's a lot of Airbnbs, but yeah, that should give you a good idea. All right, we move on. Remember that everything is negotiable in advance. Always be respectful, but always be prepared to walk away. Always be suspicious of anyone who seems to be rushing you into an agreement. The lease must be in Spanish, but you are entitled to a copy in your own language. You may want to translate the Spanish copy yourself and compare it to the translation supplied. The best leases are simple, one-page affairs. The longer the lease, the higher the chance there'll be that somebody will try to get the better of you. Some landlords may require you to name a Dominican citizen or resident as a rent guarantor. For long-term rentals, landlords typically don't rent homes out with appliances, and they offer minimum furniture. Some apartments do have appliances or furniture, but you better not expect it. Fridges, microwaves, other appliances, furniture and utensils are all available at attractive prices in local home stores or Chinese stores, which are plentiful here. And you can always sell them after your tenancy finishes. Take responsibility for your own utilities, as landlords may let them lapse without giving you any warning. See if you can deduct the necessary costs from your rent. Check that there are no outstanding bills from the previous tenant, as otherwise you may find yourself liable for paying them. If it turns out that there are bills owing, then you can offer to pay them under the condition that the amount will be deducted from your rent. If the property cooks on gas, find out whether this comes from a central system or from individual propane tanks that will need refilling. If it's the former, then check whether this is included in the rent or whether it means a separate gas bill. If the latter, then check the cost of this and the procedure. The qualities of internet connections vary widely, especially in non-urban areas. Bear this in mind if you want to stream high-quality videos. Get a receipt for everything. Landlords not giving you a receipt is a common excuse they use in order to rip you off. Alright folks, that almost wraps it up for this time. Now keep in mind, if you're looking for relocation or travel consultancy or an introduction tour to the area of Sosua Cabareta, then reach out to me on info@educatedtraveler.info and I'll be happy to send you my price plan. Also check out my online information service, a website called InfoHub, and you can find the link in the description. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.